the biggest step I took when I was learning back from when I was in school. I was in school. I was already like sending resume to companies to trying to find a work after the school. And the best thing for me was I received a test from a company who gave me like a web design in Photoshop and told me, okay, you have 1 week to do it in code. And so it was this skill were for me the most important. It was the click in my head, like, okay, that's how we do things. Like you have a block and inside you have a title and you have a text and button, and learn to transpose in code those visual things.
Would you recommend to someone new to learning a tool like Webflow or one of these other page building tools? Or do you think it's better to like wireframe it and design it in Photoshop or InDesign or like wherever you would do it and then just code it?
Using Webflow or using like Visual Composer in WordPress, all those things who can make you a website really easily. It's great if you want to build something really fast and you're a company, you have a small budget in digital and you're not focusing on that. So you can do it with those tools. But as a professional, you cannot say, I'm a web developer. Yeah, I do WordPress website.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can use WordPress and go deep in the files and know how to modify the hook in PHP and how it's working in front end. And this is doing web development. But just putting block with Webflow or Squarespace, I mean, that's not enough to say I'm a professional in those fields. So yeah, I think for students to learn really good is to give them like, okay, this is an assignment with a visual design. So it could be a small landing page or just like a component, for example, a user card, and say, okay, you have 1 day, 2 days, 3 days to try to create it with code. And then you have the mentor coming and say, okay, you did like this, because there is like a billion ways to code a block. Like you can, I mean, in HTML, CSS is really, so, and then you have a mentor saying, okay, you did this way, I will do it that way, or this way is good, but learning fundamentals. And then when you know that, okay, you can use Webflow to speed up your process, because we are in a business world and time is money. So that's understandable, but first learn the basic.
Yeah. Do you think it's important that students be learning how to optimize for mobile and like for the various devices, like right from the start?
Yeah, totally. For example, the company where I'm working on right now, so the target audience is more like 30 years old stay-at-home moms, or, like Generation X people, 40s, 50s, like that, because its company is selling brioche and crepes, so French bakery products. And even with that audience, which is not really connected on internet, we have 60% of the traffic on the website, which is mobile.
Yeah.
So nowadays, for every company I worked with, the most majority of traffic was coming from mobile. So you cannot design a website from desktop and then go mobile and then, okay, I'm going to squish everything on mobile and that's it. Yeah. And that's why also you see Google with progressive web apps and all the new tools they are giving to developers to really focus on mobile. So if you start with mobile, it's going to be much more easier for you to think mobile and then think desktop. And nowadays, all the developers, it's hard for them to think mobile, because everybody started with only desktop at the time. When I started, it was the mobile wasn't existing. Like Apple was just releasing the first iPhone, I think. And so you need to know how to do on mobile, because nowadays that's the majority of the traffic on internet.
Yeah. Is that changes in the HTML, or is that changes in the CSS in the way that you're telling the HTML to behave?
So that's in CSS. Everything is in CSS. And you, on top of that, you have a small layer when you need to think differently. So I don't know if you know, there is like the mobile first mentality, where you start on mobile and then you expand to desktop. And for example, on mobile, you have all the question of performances, page weight, because we are using data and not Wi-Fi. So you have CSS, but you have also, you need to learn how to be lean, you know? Like
I see.
and okay, what's the most important feature on this page for mobile? And like when I removed, for example, it's really like cliche, but you have a WordPress with article on the left, and you have like calendar or all these widgets on the right. Okay, on mobile, what's important, to show the weather or to show the article? So you're gonna remove the weather, remove the article, and all of those things gonna be in CSS, but also trying to maximize the performance of the page and trying to remove them from the loading phase of the website. Not load, because CSS is just makeup, it's just you hiding things, but the browser is still loading the code. So that's not good for the data on the mobile.
I see.